Benjamin Netanyahu meeting with President Trump for several hours today at the White House. The Israeli prime minister stressing Israel's security concerns as the United States has resumed talks with Iran, and they will continue next week. Now, moments ago, President Trump touting, quote, the tremendous relationship between the two countries, and adding on Truth Social from the president, there was nothing definitive reached other than I insisted that negotiations with Iran continue to see whether or not a deal can be consummated. If it can, I let the prime minister know that will be a preference. If it cannot, we will just have to see what the outcome will be. Retired four-star General Jack Keane joins me now, chairman of the Institute for the Study of War and Fox News senior strategic analyst. General, always good to have you with us. Your reaction to this meeting today and the statement from President Trump.
Well, my reaction to the meeting is I'm delighted it's taken place, and it's really quite extraordinary, Martha. And President Trump has been in office 13 months, and he's met with Prime Minister Netanyahu 7 times in those 13 months. That is completely unprecedented to have those kind of meetings. It reminds me of the Churchill-Roosevelt interaction. When Churchill was in the war, Roosevelt was not. He was providing physical, material support to him, to be sure, but also moral support and also intellectual support in how to cope with it. These two men truly have a relationship, a partnerships that's joined by common interests, security of Israel, to be sure, but also stability and peace in the Middle East, and the fact that there is an adversary, an enemy there, a diabolical enemy that wants the destruction of Israel, and if it had nuclear weapons would likely use them. So this has brought them together time and time again. And I think the results of this meeting had twofold intent. One, to the prime minister to let the president know what his thoughts are about the negotiations. And certainly, I believe he's pretty clear, as our president is, that the goal would be no enrichment for nuclear, certainly, reduction of ballistic missiles significantly in numbers, but also limit the range. And the third thing is no support for the proxies. Likely, Iran will not even agree to any one of those in any substantive or consequential way. But I'm sure the prime minister wanted to make certain that the president heard that. And I think the second thing, in terms of the military option, it probably wanted to talk to him face-to-face, likely something he's done on the phone, to make sure the president understands what an historical opportunity they have here to actually set the conditions for a regime change. There's been 7 presidents before President Trump who had to deal with this regime. None of them have ever been in this position. And President Trump is in this position for a number of reasons. One, he stopped the nuclear deal in 2018. 2, he killed Qasem Soleimani in 2020, the iconic figure that had so much to do with the death of Americans from '82 all the way to just several years ago prior to his death. And then the third thing, he took action to destroy Iran's nuclear program. So here we are with the next step, which I think is more likely than not, and that is to finally take Iran off the board as the destabilizing adversary in the region, and with the potential for finally, after 46 years, to have some stability and enduring peace in the region. That is the historic opportunity, and I would imagine both of them would agree with that premise.
Yeah, I just want to put this picture up, the then and now, in terms of the images of the entrances to the major nuclear site at Isfahan, and you can see that it is completely buried in this second picture here. It really has been damaged so dramatically, these facilities, General Keane, and also their economy is in tatters, and yet they are clearly committed to spending money to try to rebuild, or at least that's what they say they're doing. They say they're in a stronger position now to defend themselves than they were before those strikes. Do you believe any of that?
Yeah, this is something, you know, we're really used to these guys.
Yeah.
We've had 46 years of dealing with them. And when they're under pressure, Martha, this is what they do. They talk real tough, and they get real hard-nosed about things. And, you know, certainly they have recovered a lot of their ballistic missiles. I'm not minimizing that. And they have rockets and they certainly have drones. But it's all something that collectively, in a combined attack, Israel and the United States can deal with. But under pressure, the rhetoric increases. There's a lot of bluster associated with it. And I'm glad you showed that. There's those nuclear sites. There's not much left of it. This much we know about Iran when it comes to nuclear. One, they have made the decision they want to recover it. They have made some site selection of it. And we have an understanding collectively of where that is. And that's been reported publicly. So whatever attempts they make to recover that nuclear program, likely Israel, and if necessary, the United States would absolutely deal with that. But it's not something we have to deal with in the near term. In the near term, we have the opportunity here to potentially collapse this regime once and for all. The other thing we know is, anecdotally, from what we're getting out of Iran and the people, after the killing of so many people, 10 to 30,000, somewhere in there is the real number, 40,000 in jail, the intensity of resentment to the regime has grown in scale. I'm absolutely convinced that when we apply external military pressure to this regime in everything that is helping to sustain the regime, a holistic, comprehensive approach to it, I would bet anything that once that hits and it's over, these people will be out by the tens and hundreds of thousands again, putting in pressure on whatever is left of that regime, because they are so fed up with these guys.
It's so true. And they feel a tipping point in their bones, and they want it to happen, for the most part, the people in Iran, and we saw them come out in great risk to themselves. And it has been an extraordinary moment to watch. So we'll see what happens here. General Jack Keane, always great to have you with us. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.